Practice without feedback creates confidence in errors. I want you to let that land for a second. Your team's practicing every day, every client call, every policy review, every coverage recommendation. That's practice. The question is whether anyone is telling them what they're getting wrong. Because if not, every repetition's reinforcing whatever habits they've already got, good or bad, with equal strength. In most insurance agencies, feedback arrives in one of two ways: an annual review or an E&O claim. Both are too late to change the initial behavior. And that gap between the mistake and the correction is where competence quietly erodes. Now, insurance has a structurally broken feedback loop, and here's why. In most professions, errors surface quickly. A surgeon sees the outcome in the operating room. A pilot gets immediate instrument readings. But in insurance, a coverage gap you create today might not surface as a claim for 6 months, a year, sometimes longer. By the time the claim hits, the professional who wrote the policy has no memory of the specific decision that created the gap. The learning moment's extinct. The feedback, when it finally comes, feels like punishment, not development. This is the feedback paradox. We avoid the input we most need because our brains associate feedback with a threat. Research shows that corrective feedback activates the same neural pathways as social rejection. Your brain treats "you got this wrong" the same way as being excluded from a group. So professionals develop strategies to avoid it. They stop asking questions. They avoid situations where gaps might be exposed. They project confidence over competence. And the agency never knows until the claim happens. Effective feedback has 5 traits. Miss any one of them and the feedback gets ignored or creates defensiveness. First, immediacy. Feedback arrives while context is fresh, not at a quarterly review, as close to the moment of performance as possible. Second, specificity. Be more careful about endorsements is useless. Instead, try, "On the Anderson account, the contract required the CD 2037 because of the completed ops exposure." That type of commentary changes behavior. Third, objectivity. Observable facts, not personality judgments, not "you're careless." Instead, try, "This endorsement was misapplied." Fourth, directionality. Feedback points forward, not just what went wrong, what to do differently next time. Fifth, appropriate difficulty. 1 or 2 actionable corrections build momentum. 12 errors at once shut down the brain completely. Beyond these 5 traits, there are 4 types of feedback. Outcome feedback tells you right or wrong. Informational explains why. Correctional feedback allows you to have an opportunity to see what needs to change, and process feedback addresses how you approach the problem to begin with. Most agencies deliver only outcome feedback, pass or fail, but informational and process feedback are where deep learning happens. Telling someone their recommendation was wrong is an example of an outcome. Explaining which exclusion they missed is informational feedback. Lastly, walking through where their reasoning went off track is process feedback. When a learner answers incorrectly, they don't just see wrong. They see where and with the right framework they could get the answer correct next time. Then you add a follow-up question that tests the corrected understanding within seconds. That loop compresses what normally takes months into minutes. Immediate, specific, objective, directional, and appropriately challenging all 5 criteria every time. If you run an agency, ask one question this week. How long until a new hire discovers they made a coverage error? If the answer is longer than 48 hours, your feedback loop's broken, and your team's building confidence in errors every single day. Feedback designed with these 5 traits doesn't threaten, it develops. The difference between an agency that builds expertise and one that builds confident incompetence is the speed and quality of the feedback loops. If you want more videos like this, click the subscribe button.